Have you ever stopped to think about how much our beliefs can really shape things? Not just, our own choices, but whole communities.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when there's a promise involved.
Right, like a specific
Yeah.
future, maybe even a timeline for, well, the end of the world or something huge like that.
And the level of devotion it can inspire.
Hmm.
The personal sacrifices people make. It's powerful stuff.
It really is. And today, we're
Yeah.
diving deep into exactly that kind of dynamic.
Yeah.
We're looking at an open letter to the IDMR Telegraph.
IDMR being the Institute of Divine Metaphysical Research.
Correct. And this letter was written by concerned past and current members.
Yeah.
It's quite something to read.
Yeah, it is. So our goal here is really to unpack what this letter is saying, its core claims, the history it lays out, and the effects it alleges the organization had on its members.
And we'll try to stay objective, looking just at the source material.
Exactly. It's about understanding what happens when you mix faith, very specific
Okay.
predictions, and, well, people's lives. That intersection can get complicated.
So let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
The IDMR's origins. The letter says it was formalized in '58 in California.
That's right. But the roots go back further, to 1931 in Ohio.
Okay, so who is the central figure back then?
According to this letter, it was a man named Henry C. Kinley. He claimed he had a divine vision and revelation.
When was this?
Springfield, Ohio, June 6th, 1931. And the letter really emphasizes right away how the organization used supernatural beliefs and events for dramatic effect.
Like what sort of things?
Reputed healings, lots of predictions. It built this narrative, of extraordinary events and divine backing right from the start.
That sounds like a recipe for attracting followers.
A very powerful one.
And Kinley himself, the letter mentions his confidence, his certainty about foretelling events. There's that.
Oh, yeah, the one about the watch. If it does happen by the watch of my arm, don't come back here no more because there won't be no more school.
That's incredibly bold, basically staking the entire movement on his predictions.
It is. And according to the letter, this confidence seemed justified early on by some pretty big hits.
What kind of predictions are we talking about?
Well, the letter lists the most noteworthy ones. The Allied invasion of Normandy D-Day, June 6th, 1944.
Wow, okay.
Also predicting JFK's nomination, election, and his assassination while in office.
That's specific.
Very. And the death of Pope John XXIII before June 6th, 1963. That's even mentioned in their book, Elohim. Also, the sinking of the USS Thresher submarine in '63.
So a string of seemingly accurate predictions.
Exactly. And then the big one, the end of the world before 2000 AD.
Before 2000.
Yes, though the letter says many members first thought it meant even sooner, like 1996.
I can see how those earlier verifiable ones would build immense faith. Somewhere like the letter says, a strong basis for faith.
Undeniably. It makes later claims much easier to accept, right?
Absolutely. So how did they spread these beliefs? How did the IDMR grow?
The letter describes a pretty comprehensive strategy. They had their main book, Elohim, the archetype original pattern of the universe.
The foundational text.
Right. Then, paid media advertising. Free public lectures, which apparently drew big crowds, even TV broadcasting.
They were getting the word out.
Definitely. Plus, 3 international peace missions and over 135 conventions and seminars worldwide. It was a very organized, multi-pronged effort to expand.
And this wasn't just about sharing ideas, was it? The letter links these predictions to fundraising.
It does, yeah, directly. The end of the age prophecies fueled what the letter calls a massive recruiting and fundraising effort over decades.
How so?
Members were urged, apparently quite strongly, to give till it hurts.
To fund what specifically?
The textbook, the peace missions. And the pressure went further. The letter mentions encouraging people to beg and borrow, even quit jobs to attend conventions.
Why? What was the hope?
To be sealed personally, as the letter puts it. To play a part in bringing about the end of the age. It shows how deeply faith, money, and this prophesied future got tangled up.
That puts immense pressure on people.
Huge pressure.
The letter then suggests this belief system took another step, focusing on Kinley himself. How did it describe that?
This is where it gets really intense. The belief, as the letter states it, was that Henry Clifford Kinley wasn't just a prophet. He was the fullness of the Creator made flesh.
Wow. So essentially, God manifest their salvation.
That's how the letter frames the belief. And crucially, this belief didn't end with him. It apparently transferred to the next international deans.
Like Dr. Robert Harris.
Yes, notably Dr. Harris. It created this lineage of perceived divine leadership.
And the letter says members were urged to confess Harris was also God? Or
Yeah.
Kinley reincarnated?
Yes, to ensure a man on the ground. The letter even mentions a literal coronation for Harris. King of Kings, throne, trumpets, the whole thing.
That's an extraordinary level of public veneration.
It really is. And the letter stresses the significant sums of money devoted to worshiping both men, even after their deaths. Members traveling long distances for gatherings, celebrations.
So the devotion continued strongly.
Very much so. The letter even describes the current international dean being depicted as the high priest, sitting before a replica Ark of the Covenant while members paraded to give homage. It points to a deep, ongoing reverence.
Okay, so now we get to the critical part of the open letter. All this devotion, these grand claims, but then the undeniable failing, as they call it. The world didn't end before 2000.
Or 1996.
Right.
This is the core tension. This is where belief meets, well, reality not matching the prediction.
And it wasn't just that one big prophecy, was it? The letter lists others.
It does. Several others, like predictions that certain members would live to see the end, many of whom have since passed away.
Okay.
Or that members wouldn't ever collect Social Security, which of course many did.
Mm.
There was also a failed prediction about peace between Jews and Arabs, brokered by Arafat and Sharon, and the claim that Pope John Paul II would be the last pope.
So a pattern of failed predictions, according to the letter.
That's what the authors argue, yes. A cumulative list that directly challenges the idea of prophetic certainty.
Yet the letter says new predictions kept coming even after these failures.
It seems so. The letter points to Robert Harris predicting the end before 2007, then later pushing it to 2010.
So just moving the goalposts, essentially.
That's the implication. And the letter mentions declarations from members, too, like if Dr. Harris passes, we're out of here, or more recently about the current leader, Aaron. If Aaron passes, we're all going with him.
It shows the expectation was still deeply ingrained, even as dates pass.
Exactly. A persistent belief in an imminent end, despite the
that
delay.
we are at the end of an age. We're not going to stop that.
But here's what I find really striking. The letter claims the school has at no point formally acknowledged the failure of any of its predictions, still claiming the founder batted 1,000.
Right.
Talking about we should apologize for the predictions and the things that have been done. I think it should be the other way around. You all need to be apologizing to us because the things that Dr. Kinley said has come to pass. And we don't make no apology.
And given the list the letter provides, that seems problematic.
Problematic is one word for it.
The letter uses stronger language. Disingenuous cognitive dissonance at best, and deceitful at worst.
And they bring up Kinley's own words again, don't they, about shutting down if he missed one.
Yes, that bold statement from the beginning. The letter argues that foundational promise is now just ignored, despite the evidence they present of failed prophecies.
It's a direct challenge to the organization's integrity, based on its own founder's word.
Precisely. A major disconnect, as the letter writers see it, between the claims and the track record.
So, stepping back, the whole point of this open letter is accountability, right? Demanding acknowledgement from the IDMR leadership. What about the human cost? The negative outcomes?
This is where the letter gets really sobering. It lays out a long list of alleged damages.
Like what?
It talks about mass manipulation, requiring members to spend copious amounts of time at lectures multiple times a week to avoid eternal damnation.
That sounds incredibly demanding.
And anxiety-inducing. The letter mentions induced anxiety, stress, and despair from the doomsday focus, leading to rampant substance and alcohol abuse.
Wow, so real mental health consequences. What about life opportunities?
Big impact there, too, according to the letter. Careers ended or never begun. Dreams stifled, especially for young people raised in the Institute. People quitting college or not pursuing education because of these short-sighted decisions based on the world ending soon.
And financially, you mentioned the pressure to donate.
Yes, leading to significant debt and even numerous bankruptcies for some. Just untold lost life opportunities and income across the board.
It sounds like it touched every aspect of life. Family, relationships.
The letter claims so. It mentions couples who never had children or limited their family size because of the prophecies and now live with persistent, deep regret.
That's heartbreaking.
It also points to severed familial relationships and pressure to stay in abusive marriages.
And the impact on children raised within the group.
This is maybe the toughest part. The letter alleges lifelong damages to their self-esteem, being taught they were black spirits with no hope of salvation.
That's incredibly damaging.
And finally, it talks about the gaslighting from leaders when questions were raised and the ostracization faced by those who doubted. It's a really comprehensive picture of alleged harm.
A devastating list. And the letter contrasts this with the IDMR's public image, right? Bragging about being the one and only truth above scrutiny.
Exactly. Setting itself up as infallible, which makes acknowledging failure, well, almost impossible perhaps. But the letter insists that healing can only begin in the light of acknowledgement.
So what do they actually ask the IDMR board to do?
They have very specific recommendations. A written response, acknowledging the letter, outlining actions and timelines,
Okay.
publishing a press release on their website about the failed predictions, running a full-page ad in the LA Times, apologizing.
A public apology.
Yes. And posting a video of the current dean and president confirming the failures and explaining, why the school is still relevant despite them. They suggest adding a cover letter to new copies of the Elohim book, disclosing the failed predictions and justifying Kinley's credentials. And including this open letter itself in the official international minutes.
They want it on the record, internally and externally.
Very much so. Concrete steps toward transparency and accountability.
And the letter ends with that stark warning. Failure to do so is not just negligence, it's fraud.
And quoting Kinley again about being honest.
Yeah, bring it right back to the founder's own words about honesty with oneself, with God, with others. It frames the whole demand within the organization's own stated values.
It really throws the core tension into sharp relief, doesn't it? This clash between deeply held belief, specific predictions, and, reality unfolding differently.
Absolutely. It's a profound challenge when your foundation is built on things that then don't come to pass. How do you reconcile that? The letter is essentially demanding that reconciliation. So this deep dive into the open letter really highlights it as a powerful call for truth, for accountability, coming from inside the organization itself, urging the leadership to live up to their own slogan, speak the truth.
And maybe for you listening, it brings up a broader question. How do organizations, or even just us as individuals, handle that tension? When core beliefs meet evidence that challenges them, what's the real cost to credibility, to people's lives when that balance gets lost? Something to think about.
See parts. And don't even let us get started that we are at the end of an age. We're not going to stop that.
Abuse. See, some of us ain't got no sense, and we do those things